Hello, let's start with those new temperature records that have been set again here in the United Kingdom. Well, temperatures have reached 35 degrees Celsius at Heathrow and Kew Gardens in London, according to the Met Office. That makes it the hottest day in May ever recorded in the UK, breaking a record that was set just yesterday, in fact, when the mercury hit 34.8 degrees Celsius. That was in southwest London. It's all because of a so-called heat dome of warm air, which has come from northern Africa and is now sitting over Western Europe. It's also been the warmest day in May ever recorded across the island of Ireland, and a temperature of 29.2 degrees Celsius was recorded at Oak Park in County Carlow today. And that breaks yesterday's new record of 28.6 degrees Celsius at Shannon Airport. Let's talk to our correspondent Ellie Price, who's at Godstone Farm in Surrey. Ellie, you must be sweltering there like everybody else. And it was the hottest night in May on record as well, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's right. As you say, the hottest day today, but let's not forget the hottest night last night. The reason we're here, we're just a few miles down the road from Kenley, which is an airfield in Greater London, and just a few miles south here at Godstone Farm. They've been enjoying the heat. I don't know if enjoying is the right word. It is really, really hot, particularly in the sun, because that overnight temperature was deemed to be tropical, as it was across much of England. Tropical being the technical term where temperatures don't go lower than 20 degrees Celsius. And in Kenley overnight, it was 21.3 degrees. But it was also, as I say, a similar picture across England. Up in West Yorkshire, it was 20.9 degrees at Emley in West Yorkshire. So, as I say, a similar picture across. Now, I think it's worth noting that these weather stations that take these very accurate temperature measures, they look apparently a bit like beehives. They take temperature measures in the shade. So if you're sort of standing around like I have been in the sunshine, it does feel an awful lot hotter because, as I say, those record-breaking temperatures are just simply in the shade. Now, we think that this should be the sort of peak of all of it. There is an amber health warning across most of the Midlands and the south of England, which is due to stay in place till tomorrow afternoon around 5 o'clock. As we expect would be the heat. But obviously the heat itself tends to dissipate slightly around, well, this time in the afternoon.
And Ellie, I mean, it's wonderful news for lots of people who love the heat and the sun. But there is also concern about how people stay safe in this heat, and also about people going into the water when they might not normally, and the dangers involved with that.
Yeah, absolutely. Some really sad news that we're hearing today from yesterday, the bank holiday here in the UK, that 3 teenagers were sadly killed in open water in rivers and seas. South Yorkshire, West Yorkshire and Warwickshire Police all confirming the deaths of 2 teenage boys and 1 teenage woman. We've also heard this afternoon that a man in his 60s died of a cardiac arrest while helping some relatives in Cornwall. And unfortunately, we hear these reports, don't we, when there is weather like this, when people are tempted into the open water. And of course, there is always those risks of going into to cold water, sudden cold water, where obviously it can have a dramatic shock on people's bodies. So the normal warnings very much abound today. And as I say, there were those health warnings which are still in force across England, which mean vulnerable people over 65, for example, need to take extra care in the sort of peak hours of heat. They need to stay hydrated, stay in the shade, that sort of thing. And just anecdotally looking around here, I mean, it's, you know, we've seen llamas enjoying the sprinklers, we've seen the pigs having extra water in their little mud pits to wallow in, but noticeably far fewer people visiting here. It is, after all, half term in the UK, and the farm here told me that normally there'd be around 1,800 people visiting on a half term Tuesday. Today there have been just around 600 people, and the people we spoke to have been very much enjoying their sun, enjoying the ice creams, going into the shade, but looking forward to going back to their paddling pools later and leaving early. Of course, that's if they even turned up in the first place. Yeah,
I guess the hot weather too much for some visitors. Ellie, thank you very much indeed. Ellie Price reporting there. Let's just take a look at the map then, which we can show you right now, which is the heat wave and how it's affecting the rest of Europe, with 40 degrees forecast for southwest France later on this week. Yes, 40 degrees. Now, in fact, France In France, 7 deaths have been linked to the record hot weather there, either directly or indirectly. Spain and Switzerland have also seen exceptional May temperatures in the last few days. So let's go to Paris actually and join